talk about Torso's S-4, but I just bought it, so I don't know everything about it. Hope you'll use this as a reference. I'll go based on firmware version 2.0 for updating the firmware first. Connect the S4 and PC via USB. By the way, I'm using a Mac, so please understand that. First, press the config button and enter the system menu. Select USB mass storage and connect to the PC. This mounts the S4 on the PC, so download the firmware from the support page of the official Torso website. When the zip is downloaded, it may be automatically unzipped, but copy it as a zip file to the root folder of the S4. When the copying is complete, unmount it on the PC side. Return to the S4 operation and select Install Update from the system. Then follow the messages displayed on the S4 to install. The messages displayed vary depending on the version, so please check the official information before proceeding. First, the Select knob. This knob is used to turn the power on and off, change the BPM, and change the project name. For a new project, select New or Save As. Change the text with the Select knob or Control Action button, and save. The main level is the main volume. You can leave it at 0 dB. Inputs are IN1 and IN2, mono or stereo. There's a built-in mic on IN1 and a headset. For audio into the S4, use a mic preamp or mixer to set the level depending on your gear, like a mic, synth, or guitar before sending audio. Other settings: mic gain, track input switching, and monitoring when recording. You can also use the S4 as an audio interface via USB to a PC. This lets you work with DAWs like Ableton. For details, see the official manual. Next is the track. The S4 has 4 tracks. Press the track button to switch tracks with these 4 buttons. Send routes audio to other tracks or within the same track. For example, you can send the sound from tracks 1 to 3 together to track 4 and record it. By the way, there's an item called Track Input in the audio settings, where you can select the input source. For example, if you set it to send only audio from other tracks will be input, and external inputs will be blocked. Next is the material. From version 2.0, it's divided into 4 devices: disk, tape, poly, and bypass. To switch devices in the material, press Ctrl plus Material button. Disk is a device that streams samples. It uses a sound file loaded from internal or external storage. The recommended audio format is 16-bit 48 kHz wave. I tried loading a sample over 10 minutes long and it played fine, so no real limits as long as it fits in storage. I haven't tried an SSD yet, but a USB stick works fine. It must be exFAT or FAT32. Press Load from Material to pick a sample from internal or external storage. You can preview it with Ctrl plus Play. To unmount the USB or SSD, select the disk and press Clear. To be safe, save the sample as a separate file before editing. Save it with Ctrl S. The saved file is in the Bounce folder in User Files. Also, a project folder is created in the Bounce folder, so finding your sound is easy. To cut a sound within a range, press Ctrl Trim. Use Ctrl plus Loop to toggle loop on and off. To delete loaded or recorded sounds, press Clear plus Buffer. To record in disk mode, check audio input with Control plus Monitor. Then press Record, then Play. If you need to match the BPM, the play button's flashing is linked to it, so use that as a clue. There seems to be no recording time limit as long as it fits local storage. I'll verify this later. Material parameters are split into 2 pages, switchable by pressing the Material button. Speed controls the sample's playback speed. Tempo syncs the sample's BPM to the master tempo. You can select 3 modes: sync, stretch, and free by pressing and turning the tempo knob. Start sets the sound start position, and length sets how long it plays. Also, press and turn the knob to change the quantize value for start and length for more precise loops. Glide works when tempo mode is stretch or free, affecting pitch changes. Level adjusts the volume of the loaded or recorded sound. SOS lets you overdub on a recorded or loaded sound. Here you set the original track's volume. For example, turning SOS fully left records only the new external input. Next, turn the SOS knob up a bit more in record. The original track will be quieter than the input. So SOS only adjusts the original track's volume, letting you balance it with the new recording. Next, density works in stretch or free tempo mode, changing the sound granularly. For example, in free tempo mode, combine it with freeze for a granular effect. Reverse, as the name suggests, plays the sound backwards. Also, to reset changes to each parameter, press Clear plus Params. Next is tape. Unlike disk, tapes load and record within a 30-second buffer. For example, even if you load a long sound file onto a tape, only the first 30 seconds will be loaded. The recording method is basically the same as with disk. Check the audio input with Control plus Monitor, press Record, then Play. Press Record or Stop to stop. If you continue recording without stopping, recording will stop after 30 seconds. Rotate adjusts playback position. Length adjusts sound length. Level adjusts the volume of the loaded or recorded sound. Reverse plays backwards. Rewind forces the sound back to start. Speed controls the playback speed of the sample. You can select the speed scale by pressing and turning the knob. SOS allows overdubbing like discs, but unlike discs, it adjusts the volume balance with the original track from -100 to +100%. At center, original and external audio mix. Turn left for only external audio, right to block it. Next is Poly. With a MIDI keyboard, it works as an 8-poly sampler and synth. No recording. You edit the loaded sound. You can also play it by pressing the trigger button without a keyboard. Pitch controls the overall tone of the sound. Level controls the volume. You can choose from 3 playback modes. Start adjusts the start position of the sample, length adjusts the length of the sample, and loop changes the loop range. Fade adjusts the fade of the loop. On the second page, you can control the time change of the sound, attack, decay, sustain, etc. Curve controls the overall curve of the envelope. Velocity controls the amount when triggered with a MIDI keyboard, etc. Filter amount adjusts filter modulation, and filter shape morphs the envelope. This is the behavior when you connect a MIDI keyboard and play polyphony. Next is bypass. As the name suggests, it bypasses the device. Next, granular. Sound can be broken into smaller particles called grains and resynthesized. Pitch controls the pitch of the grains. Rate controls the speed of the grains. Size controls the size of each grain in beats synced to the master tempo. Contour controls the amplitude of the grains. In the middle position, the envelope draws a smooth sine curve. Negative values create a downward ramp. Positive values create an upward ramp. Warp controls the variation in playhead position. Increasing this creates smooth random playhead movement. Spray varies the stereo spread of the playhead and grains. Pattern randomly varies the pitch parameters. Wet adjusts the mix with the original sound. And detune on the second page varies the pitch of the grains even more finely. Random rate adds more random variation to the rate per grain. Random size adds random variation to the size of the grains. SOS controls the volume of the audio recorded into the 4-second buffer. In addition, you can add scale changes to the pitch by turning the knob. Change the rate to free, straight, triplet, or dot by pressing and turning the knob. Next, the filter. Cutoff controls the filter's cutoff frequency. Resonance emphasizes the band around the cutoff. Decay controls resonance for each frequency. Select sustain or choke by pressing and turning the knob. Sustain is a post-filter that creates a sustained sound, while choke is a pre-filter controlling the effect at the cutoff. Pitch adjusts the whole filter's pitch in semitones. Slope morphs the filter between low pass, band pass, and high pass. Tone boosts high frequencies positively and low frequencies negatively. Scale quantizes each frequency to the specified scale. Waves on the second page changes each frequency to a sine wave pattern. Noise adds random changes to each frequency. Tilt adjusts the response of the resonance band when decay is applied. Detune adds modulation at a constant rate to each frequency. Waves are controls the rate of modulation. You can change the note value to 4 types: free, straight, triplet, and dot by turning the knob. Noise are controls the rate of modulation. You can also change the note value to 4 types: free, straight, triplet, and dot by turning the knob. Next is color. Drive adds overdrive to the input signal. Compress is a compressor. Attack and release times are fixed. Crash adds a bit crush effect. You can select 3 modes: bit crush, redux, and a mix of bit crush and redux by turning the knob. Tilt controls the balance between high and low frequencies. You can switch between 3 modes: LO, MID, and HI by pressing and turning the knob. Noise adds noise. You can select from 3 types: white noise, pink noise, and dust by pressing and turning the knob. Noise decay controls the decay time of the noise. Noise tone controls the cutoff frequency of the bandpass filter on the noise. Wet adjusts the mix with the original sound. Space is for spatial effects like delay and reverb. Delay is a delay effect, as the name suggests. Time adjusts the delay time. Turn the knob to choose from 4 note values: free, straight, triplet, and dot. Reverb is a reverb effect. Size controls the room size. Feedback adjusts the delay's feedback amount. Spread adds modulation to the delay. Turn the knob to choose from phase, shift, ping-pong, or diffusion. Tone applies a low or high-pass filter. Decay controls the reverb's decay time. Freeze freezes the delay and reverb effects. Modulation can add effects to any parameter. You can easily set it by moving the parameter while pressing the modulation button. Besides turning the knob left and right, you can also apply modulation in both directions by pressing and turning it. To reset the modulation, press the Clear plus Mods button. There are 4 modulation sources: wave, random, follow, and ADSR. To switch the wave source, tap the modulation button briefly, then select with the select button. Wave allows advanced and complex modulation like LFO and loop envelope. Rate controls the cycle. Select free, straight, triplet, or dot by pressing and turning the knob. Amount adjusts depth, and phase adjusts the phase of the modulation. Offset adjusts the base value of the modulation. Skew changes the envelope of the modulation into various shapes. Fold creates new peaks and valleys of modulation. Curve changes the shape of the modulator curve. Spread changes the phase of the modulation in stereo. Switch the waveform to sine, triangle, or square with the action button. Random creates unpredictable changes, as the name suggests. Follow reacts to input audio, dynamically changing the sound width. Ducking, pumping, filtering, etc. ADSR modulates using the envelope. Attack, decay, sustain, release. It works when you press TRIG. Mix sets volume, mute, panning, etc. for each track. Press each track button to stop the sample. Hold Ctrl and press to mute tracks. You can also apply filters to each track. You can set the panning from -100 to 100%. You can also apply a compressor to the total mix. Main lets you adjust the mix's main volume. Perform is a macro control that lets you manage multiple parameter changes at once. To change a parameter with Perform, press the Perform button and operate the parameter. First, assign it to macro 1. To switch to macro 2, hold Ctrl plus Perform and press the corresponding knob. To switch to macro 3, hold Ctrl plus Perform and press the knob as before.
したままノブを押し込みます。
As mentioned, you can assign up to 8 parameters and control them with one interface. Temp lets you instantly undo a parameter change. To activate temp, hold the button, change the parameter, then release. Create up to 128 scenes, each with its own sample and settings, great for songs or live.
特にソング作成やライブ演奏時に役に立つ機能となっています。
For example, load a different sample per scene like this. You can recall scenes in order or randomly. The rule parameter selects 4 progression directions, plus chance and quantize settings. Allow you to control how it works in more detail. You can also change the quantize parameter by turning the knob. Copy allows you to copy tracks to other tracks or scenes to other scenes. For example, if you want to copy track 1 to track 2, first select track 1 and press copy, then move to track 2 and press Ctrl plus copy. Now track 1 and track 2 are in the same state. To copy a scene, you can also press copy and copy, then press Ctrl plus copy at the copy destination. Finally, I've been talking about recording or sound file-based so far, but one of the great things about the S-4 is that it also functions as an audio processor. So you can apply these effects live to the input without recording. This video's long. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. See you next time.